Oh, if you have to start over, get the code and everything.
No. It's okay. Here we go. It's YouTube for whatever reason. It just didn't work correctly.
Okay.
We will overcome. Do not despair. Technology will never beat me, ever. That's never going to happen. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to DA Discusses. This is August 2nd, and it's the second day of Voting Rights Month. And I'm here with an extremely important caucus in my mind, the Democrats Abroad Global Hispanic Caucus. And I'm here with Amerika Garcia Grewal, and the chair of the Hispanic Caucus, and Onelica Andrade. She is a Biden delegate for Democrats Abroad, and a special guest, Monsy. She works with the Hispanic Caucus, and she's also in Germany, just like me. Good morning, good evening, ladies. Amerika is in Fiji. How exciting. And Onelica is in Belgium. So what's going on? We're trying to get out the vote, and I know the Hispanic Caucus is working really hard to do it. Tell me all about it, you guys.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much, Angela, for having us here. It's such a pleasure. And the Global Hispanic Caucus is truly global. We work with people around the world every single day, and it's a lot of fun, and it's really cool to hear not just all the different English accents, but all the different Spanish accents that we have. So, ¿Quiénes somos? We are a relatively new caucus. We were founded in June of 2017, and we've got members from over 80 different countries. We vote in every state in the union, and all members of Democrats Abroad are welcome. So, we have two key goals for 2020. And first is that US citizens living outside of the United States know that they are able to vote and that they are capable, they're able to do that because they have their ballot, the ballot gets them on time, and it's returned on time. And these are real challenges here. So we estimate that there are over 1.5 million US citizens living in Mexico. And in some of our surveys, we found that many of those US citizens did not know that they are able to vote. If you were born to a US citizen, even if you've never lived in the United States, you can vote. So getting those US citizens to know, to be aware of their rights is the first challenge. We've got a few challenges when it comes to finding out where they vote, especially if they've never lived in the United States. The good news is, and I'll tell you a bit about this during the drop-in hours, we've got lots of folks who can help out with that right there. Requesting the ballots through votefromabroad.org, and then getting the ballots back to the United States in time to be counted is such a challenge. So in my case, I live in the capital city of Suva in Fiji. I can actually just go up the road to the US Embassy. I can drop my ballot there at the front gate, and in about, they estimate 3 to 4 weeks time, it should make it to where it's going to go. But my time is about half of what it is for other US embassies. And for folks that live a really long distance for their embassy, that can be a real challenge. So number one goal, US citizens able to vote. Number two goal is that they're motivated to vote. That hasn't been an issue this year. So
yeah, I wonder why.
I wonder why, yes. But one of the things that'll happen is that people will vote at the top level really, really quickly. But our candidates all the way down the ballot need our support. And so we really want people to get engaged and to know about who's running at the local level, at the county level, at the state level, because every Democrat needs the support of our Democrats Abroad. So I'm going to go through a couple of things, and I'm actually going to slide past them and let Onelica talk about her area, and then I'll come back and we'll let Monsy go through what she's doing this year. So Onelica, could you please tell us about your initiatives?
Sure. Thank you, America, and thank you, Angela. Well, I'm actually working quite hard to try to get people to know their rights to vote, as well as America was explaining. And one of the main challenges we have is the issue with taxes, because a lot of people, were born in the US, but didn't live there for very long, but they have the right to vote. But there's this myth about voting and then being chased by the IRS which is completely not true. So we're doing a series of events on what we call Tax Power Hour, and we're about to do it in Spanish too, because we know we have a lot of Spanish speakers across the world who are American citizens and might feel more comfortable listening to this in Spanish. So we decided to launch this idea. We're also going to talk about the CARES Act and help people find out whether they receive the payments and how they can get their payments. And also we're going to update them on the efforts that Democrats Abroad is doing to get residency-based taxation and hopefully eliminate a bit of the headache of having to declare taxes every year and the complications that comes with it. And I think we have another slide on our efforts too. And another activity I've been involved with is Campañas con Calidad. And this is a DNC initiative. It's a training series to cover the basics of grassroots campaigning. And the training I was involved with was with relational organizing. And this initiative is about mobilizing the Latino vote. And as America said, a lot of people are really motivated to vote. You know, that this is not the issue, but it's trying to get people to understand their rights and also getting them to vote down the ballot. So understanding how important it is not only to vote at the federal level, but also in your local offices, you know, the people that run your city, your town, and understanding the importance of this, and you know, just not lose focus of, you know, the whole importance of elections at the top and at the bottom. America, back to you.
All right, thank you, Onelica.
Thank you.
I just want to add a little something about the tax seminar that you're doing. The Black Caucus had one, and it was really great. And I think if people attend it, they're going to learn a lot. I learned that how to get my children able to register, since they're both adults. And me and my husband vote in states that have weird rules about whether you can register if you've haven't lived in the United States. But the lady that did it, she gave us information about how we can get our children registered, and it worked. They're both registered now. So please attend this tax seminar. It will teach you so much. Definitely.
Thank you, Angela. Yeah, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to be able to teach and make it easier for people to sign up to vote or to register. And as you said, in a lot of cases with people whose parents are Americans, it gets a bit tricky. So we also want to help out there. Okay, back to you, America.
Okay, thank you, Onelica. All right. So number one goal, U.S. citizens able to vote. Number two, motivated to vote. So like I said, there are some challenges, and we are really, really happy to participate with the drop-in Sundays. And this is this is being done through all of Democrats Abroad. Our caucus connection here, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to turn my video off because I just got a note that I am unstable. So you'll hear my voice, but you won't see my video.
Okay.
So yes. Our caucus liaison is Greg Dolezal to this initiative. And we started last week. We had a draft run on the 19th. We did it for real on the 26th. And you can join us any Sunday, DC time, 24 hours, starting at midnight, going to midnight, any Sunday from now until November, to talk to a volunteer live on Zoom. And we are doing our best to make sure that we have a bilingual volunteer in every one of those shifts. Now, the easiest thing you can do is get your ballot at votefromabroad.org, and you probably can do it without any extra help. But if you have questions, if you need some help, we're right there to go step by step by step. And we'll be there every Sunday until Election Day to help. And we're doing this, the Americas have 8 hours a shift, Asia Pacific have an 8-hour shift, and then EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa have an 8-hour shift. And our Hispanic Caucus volunteers, we're global. We plug in every 2 hours. And so we're really, really happy to do this. And I'm very appreciative to Kendra and to Greg for all the work they've done organizing this.
Yes, that is a really great initiative. And I'm so glad that you guys are doing it with you helping out with the bilingual support, because that's really important.
and we're really happy to. So this next initiative, I'd like to introduce Monsy Hernandez, and Monsy has got a fantastic on-camera voice, so she has been working with Edgar Lopez and also Heidi Birch in Canada. And oh my goodness, you've been working with a lot of folks. I think Tara in Mexico to do all of this. So Monsy, if I could get you to unmute a little bit and tell us a bit about what you've been doing with the VFA scripts.
Yeah, so we're actually, all of us are working together to get not only the script ready in English and Spanish, but also just to get the voiceover done. So we've already gotten that done. The process right now is basically going through, ensuring that it's understandable and that it's going to work with the video. So when we're done, hopefully we're going to have an English video that shows you step by step how to vote through the Democrats Abroad website, and then also the same video, but in Spanish. So we're really excited about how it's coming along. I think it sounds good. I am the voice, so I'm very excited about that.
Awesome.
But it's also very, very detailed. So a lot of the questions that people might have, we try to address them in that single video. So it's, I think, approximately 5 minutes long, but it really covers every single question you might have.
Yeah, that sounds really great. I look forward to sharing that video with people. You never know. The great thing about the internet is that we can share things widely, and there's always somebody who needs it who will see it. So thank you guys for working on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to reach out to everybody where they are, when they are, how they are. So some people love videos. They want to see how it all goes. Other folks are much more text-based. They want to read through step by step, or they have questions. They want to understand what's going on behind it. So there are 32 different parts of the FAQ that are updated. Every time something changes, Heidi Birch in Canada updates it. The Vote from Abroad team are fantastic. And Miguel Madrigal is our co-chair, our vice chair for Hispanics, the Hispanic Caucus. And he's actually been spending this last week going through the 32 different parts of the FAQ to review them and make sure they're the same in English as they are in Spanish. And we're really, really appreciative of that. And anybody whose primary language is Spanish or who just wants to take a look at that can go to votefromabroad.org/ES for Espanol and take a look and see all of your questions are answered there. And I personally have used the fvap.gov site and the votefromabroad.org site. And I think we're doing a fantastic job. I mean, I really, really like what's there. So I'm really happy that we've got voting champions all through the Hispanic Caucus and the kind of support that our caucus is giving to the greater Democrats abroad and to all the US citizens living abroad. Okay. And that brings us to Onelica's portion. The Tax Power Hour is going to be really fantastic. I'm so happy for what she's doing. And also, I love the way that we're partnering with the DNC and all of the different Hispanic caucuses and Latino caucuses in the United States. And part of this is through the Best Practices Institute, but also they're doing a road show, if you will. And we've been able to participate in that and talk about, you know, what some of the concerns are in the United States and to get the word out to everybody around the world, not just in the United States, but every US citizen around the world about what we're doing. So then I'm just going to open this up to everybody. You know, what kind of questions do you have? What do you want to see us do next? You know, we don't have very much time between now and the election. I think we're at 95 days, 94 days. So, you know, we're open to ideas on what we should do next. So Angela, to put you on the spot, what would you like to see us do next?
I think as far as it pertains to the election coming up, I think you guys should make more Spanish language videos for Instagram and Facebook, asking people to vote. That's what I think. But I just have noticed that, especially with the Black Caucus, that when I put up things about voting that directly correlate to the race of most of the people that are on our page, that it's super popular and it gets more action. So I would say you should solicit your members to make videos about why it's important to vote this year.
I'm going to do that right now. We have a Hispanic Caucus Steering Committee meeting in about 12 hours, 10 hours. And I'm going to say, hey, we got a really great idea. So let's do some selfie videos and put them out there. So thank you, Angela. So,
no problem.
All right. So that is our caucus. And we really appreciate it. We'd love to see you. You can connect on our Facebook page and see our information as it comes out, including this video live. The webpage at DemocratsAbroad/HC Hispanic Caucus has information on how to join our caucus, has updates, all kinds of good information. Twitter has the most updates of all. So, please come see us there or reach out to us. It's crazy to me to see that we can say email is old school, but if you want to connect old school, come to us through email and we're more than happy to talk to you there.
Wow. Looks like you guys have a lot of things going on. Can we just briefly talk about what are some of the issues that Latinx people should consider and maybe motivate them to vote?
Okay. Oh, wow. That's a really good question there. We're, as Latinas, as Latinos, we are not a monolith. We all have different stories. For example, one of the things that I got a lot growing up is like, where are you from? No, where are you really from? And, the crazy thing was growing up on the US-Mexico border, we actually moved south to be that close to Mexico. My father's family's roots come from Central Texas. My great grandmother said, we didn't cross the border crossed us. And so, I am Mexican American in the sense that, the part of the United States I'm from used to be a part of Mexico, but my roots are in Texas since before Texas was a state. And, that's really different from everybody else's story. Onelica is from Spain, and she came to the United States when she was in school. And, we've got so many other people who have so many different stories about, where their journey as an American started, with their generation, one before, five before, and so on. Our stories are also very affected by income and by education and by so many other different things. But let Onelica and Monsy share a little bit about, their story and some of the issues that they are personally affected by. Because like I said, we're a very diverse group and there's not just a single answer. Okay, the answer really is the same issues that affect all Americans. We're worried about the economy. We're worried about healthcare. We're worried about education. We're worried about equal access to rights. But individually, we have a lot of different stories. So Onelica?
Sure. Thank you, America. And indeed, we all have a different story. As America said, I'm half Spanish. My mom is from Spain, but I was born in Venezuela. So I grew up in Latin America. And then I moved to the States. And it's a very different mindset that you get, a different experience you get when you move, when you're a teenager to the States. And I think what motivates me and a lot of people that had a similar experience to mine is what drove me home is all these messages from Trump against immigrants, against all of those like me who had made the States their home. And that really triggers me. And that is a big chunk of that is what got me to get involved in Democrats Abroad. And when I was given this training that I mentioned for the DNC to get out the vote for the Latino community, the main thing we have to recognize is that we come from so many different backgrounds. We come from many places around Latin America and in the world. So we shouldn't assume that a Latino will get moved by this or that, but we need to embrace the differences we have. And another thing that I learned recently, which is amazing, it's great news, is Latinas, women Latinas are going to make the difference. We are more likely to get out and vote and get motivated. And we've been more affected by this whole narrative of separating families and having kids in cages. So this is great news for us. And, it's awesome to know that it's going to be as women, the Latina women, that are going to be driving a lot. And we have a lot of potential. So throughout this training that I was facilitating, the main message is there's so much potential in the Latina woman. Go speak to them. And if you have any Latino friends, especially women, talk to them, ask them what what are the concerns they have, and and empower them, because this whole thing is about empowering the different communities, not only the Latino community but across the states, empowering them and making them feel like if they vote, it will make a huge difference. Because sometimes we have that feeling that, why vote, the other people go, so it's not going to make a difference. It makes a huge difference. And just seeing the graphs on how we can shift things only if the Latinas go out to vote is amazing. And I think we should empower all our communities in this. And I'm gonna stop the rant there.
No, you're 100% right. Like, overall, women are going to make a big difference in this election, whether they are Latinas or African American or Asian or white. It doesn't matter. That women are more than 50% of the US population. And it's about time that we all realize and stand up and take our place. That we stop letting men decide what how the world is going to be, because they don't have the same concerns about children and family. I mean, they should have the same concerns, but they don't always have the same concerns, So yeah, great. Thank you, Onelica.
And I'd also like Monsy to share a bit. Monsy has been just, oh my goodness, such an incredible source of support. And she's done some workshops for us, how to be an ally. She shared some really personal things about her experiences as a dreamer. And she and her husband, Torin, have been just really incredible members of Democrats Abroad in Germany. And, we talk about culture kind of being like water. When you're in it, if you're a fish, you don't know what you're in. It's not until you get out. If you're a frog, you're like, oh, wait, there's water, it's wet. And one of the really wonderful things that our dreamers do is they can help us appreciate things that we may not be, fully noticing and fully realizing. So, Monsy, could you please tell us a bit about what you were thinking?
Yeah, I was a dreamer when I lived in the United States after previously living undocumented for approximately 15 years. So just as a lower income undocumented young child, it was a very difficult living that I've come to realize didn't actually have to be as difficult as it was. South Carolina is one of the most restrictive states, so we were restricted from having access to higher education, healthcare, access to law enforcement. So if at any point you experienced a crime, it was more dangerous to call the police because you might get deported. So it was better to just allow things to happen. It was very difficult living. And now that I'm an adult, I always told myself that I would fight for the child that I was. I don't want that child to not be able to go to the doctor for 10 plus years. I don't want that child to have to see her dad be robbed and then we're told okay, we have to go hide now because it's dangerous for us, which has happened. There's so many, I think, injustices, and unfortunately for a lot of people, justice is a privilege that we are not given. So we have to fight for those people. And of course, immigration is a huge thing for me. DACA is a huge thing for me. The fact that it was essentially canceled just now with the new restrictions that were put in place is a huge problem that I have, because my family is affected and I'm affected personally, knowing how much more of a struggle it's going to be for all of these people. But I also care about the environment. I also care about dismantling ICE. I care a lot about the fact that we need to work intersectionally. Immigration isn't just a Latin issue, for example. There's a lot of Afro-Latinos that are undocumented, and they're more disproportionately put into deportation proceedings than Latinos. So they only make about 2% of the population in ICE detention centers, but they make up 20% of the people that are being deported. That's a huge statistic that people need to be looking at. The fact that if you're trans or LGBTQ and you're in these detention centers, you have a 90% chance of being sexually assaulted or raped. These are things that should not be happening in a developed nation, and it certainly shouldn't be happening in one of the wealthiest nations in the world. We have the ability to have equity and justice and fight for everyone's dreams, but we have not been doing that. And we need to do that by voting, by getting involved, and by listening to the stories of the people who have been affected. I have my story available for anyone to read. If anyone wants to hear it, I'm always down to tell you. But more importantly, I just want you to listen to the people around you. Everyone that you know has been personally negatively affected by the current political climate. So do it for them, for yourself, and for everyone that is struggling with everything that's happening right now.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Monsy. We have a very shameful immigration situation in America, and it's. I have to say, I was on a call, and somebody said, "What is the most shocking thing that's happened this in the Trump administration?" And I know that a lot of terrible things have happened, but how refugees at the border are being treated, and the children that are in cages, and some of them who are frankly, as far as I'm concerned, stolen because they don't know where they are, and there's no way to give them back to their parents. For me, that is a horrifying situation, and it just makes me, it makes me so angry. I can't even imagine if I was a child and we're fleeing a bad situation, and I've got my family with me, so I'm okay because I have my family, and then somebody just takes me and separates me from my mother or my father or both of them or my aunt or my grandmother in a strange country, and I never see them again. I can only imagine the level of trauma that those children, it's shameful, very shameful. And I know a lot of Americans might feel indifferent towards this, but imagine if you went to, let's say you were taking a vacation to Europe and you got to the border, and then the Border Patrol said, "Oh, I'm going to take your child and you're never going to see them again." You would go crazy. So I can only imagine how these people who have less power than you would have if you were at the border of a country on vacation actually feel. America, is there anything else you guys would like to add? I'm so glad you're all here.
Oh, I'm tickled pink that we could all be here as well. I guess, yeah, I have one thing to add, and that is that we have agency. And what I'd like everyone to do, and I'm including everyone here too. So Monsy, Onelica, Angela, I want you to find your phone, and I want you to go find 5 people. And I want you to say, "Hey, have you requested your ballot? Do you have everything you need to get that ballot back on time?" And so you just write one message and you send it to 5 different people. And that's something I just to do. One of the things that's been interesting to me with my whole Strive for 5, which used to be my vegetable mantra, but now it's for voting, is that in the course of the day, I'll be like, "Oh my goodness, so-and-so's a US citizen. I forgot." And by trying to hit 5 different people each time, I feel like I'm making a difference. So I'd like to leave you with that. Strive for 5. Reach out right now to 5 folks who may not have necessarily requested their ballot, or who may not have a plan for getting it back. I know election day is November 3rd, but really for us, it's the end of September. We need to make sure that ballot, in my case from Texas, my ballot has to be back in Texas by election day. And so my drop dead date is at the end of September in order to get it back on time. So when does your ballot need to get back by? What do you need to do to make sure you've got it in your hand? Because I know we've got about 3 months until the election, but really for us, it's only about 2 months. So I guess that's my final word there. Strive for 5.
That is really good advice. Everybody needs to reach out to all the people that you have acquaintance with that are American citizens overseas and in the States too, quite honestly. If you're inside America and you're seeing this and you want to register to vote, you go to iwillvote.com and select the state that you live in, and it will take you to to a place where you can go and register to vote online. If you're overseas, go to votefromabroad.org. And if you speak Spanish, go to votefromabroad.org/es. It's super simple. You can do it mostly all online. And there's a few states that make you print it out and send it in. But do it now. Do it today. Do not delay. We're running out of time. Your voice is your vote. Let our politicians know how you feel, because things are not going well for America. We have over 150,000 people dead from COVID. Many of those are people of color, and many of them are not. So don't feel like it's only just, you know, Hispanics and Blacks that are having this problem. Many people have died. We have a lot of problems, and every person in the United States, someone has struggled for your right to vote. So don't lose it, use it. Thank you, Monsy. Thank you, Onelica. Thank you, America. Thanks for everybody who's watching. And let's everybody vote, votefromabroad.org, iwillvote.com. And we'll see you tomorrow on DA Discusses.
Thank you, Angela. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.